Is it true that the EPA has never obtained formal authorization legislation from Congress?
I'm sorry?
Is it true that the EPA has never obtained formal legislation, authorization legislation from Congress? It's never been authorized by Congress.
EPA is not authorized by Congress?
I'm asking you.
I thought EPA was authorized by Congress.
Well, the EPA is not. The EPA has never been formally authorized by Congress.
Oy, does Lauren Boebert know what Congress even does?
ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. In Western Colorado, we call that a fun weekend. But DC bureaucrats have used this agency to infringe on the rights of the American people.
I mean, what do you expect from someone who says this?
Today's hearing will help us better understand what Congress can do to ensure that activist stakeholders will not encourage woke corporate activism, as we have seen recently with Anheuser-Busch, Disney, and even Nike. Because as we all know around here, when you go woke, you go broke.
How did she even get here? Is her job just to be stupid and say things like this?
Gun-free zones are the most dangerous places in our country. The Second Amendment is absolute, and it's here to stay. A recent report states that Americans own 46% of the world's guns. I think we need to get our numbers up, boys and girls.
And how in the world has she lasted this long in Congress? And she's also possibly gonna win again. What's going on, Colorado?
I'm asking about the EPA, and I'm asking about your rogue bureaucrats that have enacted these unconstitutional regulations. Are you going to repeal them? Are you going to continue to implement them? Or are you going to stop altogether, since it's been overturned?
Do you understand the ruling?
Do you understand the ruling of the Supreme Court?
I do, and so your question is ill-formed. No,
will you be repealing?
We're not going to stop.
So you're going to unconstitutionally continue with these
rulemakings. We're going to adhere to the Supreme Court and continue to do our.
So which rulemakings are you going to roll back?
But I would just like to clarify a few things for my colleague from Colorado. The Loper-Bright ruling, as you know, said that the courts should not defer to agency rulemaking if a statute is ambiguous, and instead the courts get to determine whether or not what the statute means. Is that your understanding as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that would not require any regulations to be reversed or overturned. Correct?
Correct.
All right, there's a lot to digest there. Gosh, it's almost too much to keep using Lauren Boebert as an example of how dumb Congress has become, how uncouth, how uneducated, and how unproductive. Let's start with the unproductive part. These people who keep voting her in Colorado, they need to look at what Lauren Boebert has done for them. The truth is, this Republican Congress, it's been under them these past 2 years, has been one of the least productive Congresses in history. And all they've done is continue to have hearings where they try to go after woke agenda items. For example, earlier on, you saw her going after that guy in the EPA who didn't even understand what she was saying. He's going, what? What are you saying? Because Republicans don't like the EPA because they don't want the Environmental Protection Agency to actually protect the environment. They feel that they overreach and they want to have less regulations so that their billionaire donors can continue to pollute the air and make more and more money because they don't want any regulation, because Republicans feel that government is bad. Government can't manage anything. It should all be privately managed, because that's really what billionaires want. So billionaires have sold this idea that if you let billionaires and corporations regulate themselves, they'll do it. Look at Boeing. They'll regulate themselves. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Look at all the oil spills. They'll regulate themselves. Don't worry about it. That's what the Republican mentality is. Trickle-down economics. Let the rich people make a lot of money, and don't worry, they'll give some of that money to the poor people, which hasn't happened. Rich people make money, and then they go and buy themselves boats, and then they go and buy Supreme Court justices RVs. That's what happens. That's what's happening, America. So if you're watching this video and you're not a billionaire, you should really reconsider voting for somebody like a Lauren Boebert or anybody on the far right that's coming at you with their anti-woke agenda and telling you that the biggest threat to America are LGBTQ and trans people. When meanwhile, the real threat to America are these billionaires and these corporations who continue to use their money and their power to convince people that are of a lot less wealth to vote against their own interests and for the interests of the billionaires. And there you get somebody like a Lauren Boebert in there because she said something catchy and stupid. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to fight the right wing. And, Western Colorado, a gun and firearms and alcohol is a great weekend. Really, you dum-dum? Really? That's a great weekend? She's the one who went to that Beetlejuice performance and was making out with her boyfriend. And then when asked to stop vaping next to a pregnant lady, she told the pregnant lady to go screw herself. She's a bad human being. And the fact is, somehow she's convinced people in her district, former district, by the way. She won formerly in another district, but she was going to lose in that district. So now she's moved to another more conservative district where she's got a chance of winning again. And it's just sad and it's crazy that there's people like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and all these other, Paul Gosars, all these dum-dums and these nut jobs and these QAnon types who are in Congress and they're pushing these agendas that really don't accomplish anything. If you want to see who accomplished something, look at President Biden. He got the infrastructure bill passed during his presidency. Look at President Biden. He brought the cost of insulin and other medical medicine down. Look at President Biden. He actually has brought NATO together. So if you want to look at somebody who's actually gotten stuff done, you got to look on the other side, not at Lauren Boebert. So please, if you're somebody who's in the district of any of these people, just ask yourself, I don't care how conservative you are. You might sit there and go, I'm anti-abortion. I'm pro-gun rights. I want to drill, baby, drill, all that stuff. But just take a look at what your member of Congress has done for you. Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Paul Gosar, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, and on and on and on and on. Just look at what they've done for you and then vote accordingly, because they ain't gotten nothing done for you. And if you're somebody who's on the other side, look at the kind of crap that they've come up and done. Like take away a woman's right to choose. Like now, these are the types of people who support this Project 2025 going into the next election. They support everything Donald Trump does. They are election deniers. The fact that they're election deniers should disqualify them from being in Congress. Because we all know, we all saw with our own eyes, many people on the Republican side admitted to the fact that the election was not stolen. And yet you've got people like Lauren Dum-Dum here just sitting there and grilling people. The fact that she gets to talk for 5 minutes to a representative of the EPA or any representative of anything is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. America really is the country where anyone can do anything. Because if this dum-dum can do it, you can do it too. If nothing else, I hope you're inspired by this video to go and run for Congress and make things better. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I have a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Check it out. If you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. Bye.